every time there is something that happens with the channel migrants, for some reason, there is a leftist called Zoe Gardner who gets wheeled out by people like Sky News in order to argue the pro-bringing in foreign rapists case. And people try to argue the point with her, right? We're going to go through some of her video, and people try to argue the point with her. But the thing is, arguing her points is what she wants, and this is all really just a giant shit test.
What about, Zoe, those people, and there'll be many of them watching today, who think we should stop taking asylum seekers, that there are too many here? What about, Zoe, those people, and there'll be many of them watching today, who think we should stop taking asylum seekers, that there are too many here, and that ultimately maybe there should be a moratorium, for example, on asylum claims while we sort through this backlog?
Well, so note the sort of little smile here, right? The smile, the lick of the lips. This is her bread and butter. She wants you on the dialectical treadmill. She wants you to bring up the subject so she can argue her case, even though she knows her arguments are bad, and even though she knows it's going to result in the rape and murder of British people.
Yeah, and that ultimately maybe there should be a moratorium, for example, on asylum claims while we sort through this backlog.
Well, I'm afraid that's just not realistic, because if you say we're not going to process it...
Look at the big grin. She couldn't be more thrilled to let you know that you are going to be taking infinity Bomalians forever. She couldn't be more excited, because this isn't really about this subject. This is about her having license to do something that is controversial, provocative, and frankly, undermining to the health of the nation itself. She is enjoying being a subversive.
Realistic, because if you say we're not going to process any more claims...
Why is it not realistic?
Well, people just need to find protection. They do. We've seen the horrors that are taking place in the Middle East, in Sudan, in Eritrea. These are the key countries people are coming from. The UK has a colonial history. That means that we have ties with countries all over the world. We will always be a destination for immigration, and we have an aging population that needs immigration. So it is not realistic.
There's no point arguing this, because she goes from the moral argument of we have a history of colonialism and therefore we owe these people something, to it's not realistic, a utilitarian conclusion. This is not a valid argument, actually. The conclusion doesn't follow from the premises. What she should be arguing is the moral obligation that we have to take these people, but she instead moves to the utilitarian. It's not realistic. It's just not going to happen. Well, a lot of things might seem unrealistic until they happen. What she's saying is not, it can't happen. What she's saying is, hopefully the conditions don't come about for it to happen. But the thing is, these conditions are coming about. And this whole shit test is honestly, I swear to God, it is the same when you're in a relationship with a woman and she starts pushing boundaries. And what she wants is for you to puff out your chest and put down your foot and just say, no, this is not going any further, or else. And that's what she's actually looking for here. She is looking for us to frankly sit down and just tell her no, and this is not acceptable. So I thought we'd just have a quick look into Zoe Gardner, because people are like, why is she continually trotted out? And the answer is because she's a good-looking face that appears in front of the camera and makes the argument for the other side. She's obviously, as paper leftist as possible, although in her real life, I suspect she's actually not all that leftist. I suspect she lives quite a normal and mildly conservative life as an attractive blonde woman in England. But the people have looked into her, and there's really nothing to her. In fact, she's billed, as CT here points out, as an immigration expert. But is she actually? Her education is that she has a bachelor's degree in Spanish and modern Greek studies from King's College London, and then her master's is in comparative politics, nationalism and ethnicity from the London School of Economics. So not really very well educated in this realm. And then she went back to the London School of Economics in 2016, started a part-time PhD, which she appears to have not completed. The PhD was on immigration control at the EU's external borders, so I guess that's something in the realm. And really, all she's actually done is been working for migrant charities. the whole time, basically. Of all like race equity foundations, movement against xenophobia, just safe leftism, right? Very safe institutional leftism. And so what she's trying to do is push the boundaries of our country. And I think, honestly, the underlying motivation for it is for the sort of hard right resistance to come about. I think in a way, what she's doing, and I think what she actually wants, is to pretend to be a victim. She wants to feel as if actually there is a titanic struggle that we should be railing against. And so that everything she's doing is to make that thing come about in a subconscious manner. I actually don't think that she wants terrible things to happen. I think what she's trying to do subconsciously, again, it's very feminine coded, is actually force us to enforce borders and live up to our ideals, and actually have the kind of hard right government that she would claim to be against. I don't want to make a load of assumptions, but I've seen this kind of woman before, and she deliberately baits in order to end up getting that thing that subconsciously that she wants. Basically, she wants her father to come home and lay down the law. And you know what I mean. And so it's interesting when Peter Whittle, in particular, actually, says, what is going on with this person? The ever-present wide-eyed grin, even when delivering insults, the weirdly affected the way she pronounces right, the neurosis. It's like, Peter is a gentleman of non-heterosexual persuasion, which, no problem at all. Big fan, good friend of Peter Whittle. But I understand that he might not understand the kind of woman that he's dealing with. And the thing is, I've dealt with this kind of woman a fair amount, and I understand the kind of woman that we're dealing with. And I understand what she's asking for, really. I mean, watch this one. This is brilliant.
On the one hand, mate, you're right. I'm not affected by people arriving in the UK on small boats. And neither are you.
Oh, hang on a second. Look at this. Look at the joy. The absolute joy in her face, where she thinks she can wind you up and get one over on you. I mean, she wouldn't dare say that to the 12-year-old who was raped by an asylum seeker in Birmingham. I mean, there's been one of these every single day. I'll do a video later on, actually, talking about this, because the scale of this is just incredible. And so what she's doing is abstracting this away into the realm of numbers. Well, I mean, there are so few of them compared to the number of people in the country. Statistically, you're not likely to be affected. And so, okay, but that doesn't really help the girls that are being raped, right? I mean, but it's all theoretical to her. And she admits this in this video. This is all a big test. She actually is kind of tired of modernity. She's kind of tired of her safety. And she wants some kind of danger in her life. Now, I don't think that means she wants this guy rocking up on her doorstep. I think what that means is she wants a mildly authoritarian state led by a competent government of white men to just tell her flatly no, under no uncertain circumstances. So she can rail at the patriarchy and the powers that be. So she can say, oh, you evil oppressors, I'm so much more moral than you. But at least at the end of the day, she'll be able to sleep soundly in her bed. And this is a way of provoking you into this. This is, frankly, I think, evolutionary. A way of provoking you to become the thing that she subconsciously needs in order to feel safe in her country. And while she's allowed to continue doing this, we have failed in our mission.
Neither are you. Grand total of all the people who've ever come to the UK in a small boat is 136,350, right? And we have a population of nearly 67 million people. That is 0.2% of the population. None of us are really affected by that.
See what I mean? Retreating into abstraction. Well, I mean, look at the statistics. There's such a small amount of the population. There's no possible way that they could be a problem, right? That they could actually affect you. None of us are affected, apart from this poor 12-year-old who's repeatedly raped by an asylum seeker. Like, sorry, what are we doing here? And the answer is we're not engaging with her arguments, right? Her arguments are not the point. The point is that she is challenging you to be the right winger that she has warned about. Well, she's expecting you to step into these shoes. And again, you can see the joy on her face of being able to provoke you in this way. This is funny. This is hilarious. This isn't about the issue. This is about her view of you and your view of her, and the fact that she's allowed to do these things. She is expecting you to prevent her from being able to do this. And frankly, she's not going to be happy until you do.
But on the other hand, yes, we are affected, and yes, I am affected too, and that's because ever since 2018, the government has acted like this is the most important thing that's happening in the country. And they've done that because that gets them the votes of people like you.
See? See, she's literally telling you. She wants you to be voting on this. And she is grinning, saying, no, I'm totally against this, guys, but look at how happy she is. She's thrilled about this subject. It gives her relevance, and it gives her security. It gives her the security of the patriarchal state putting its foot down and keeping the foreign men out of the country. Again, I'm sure she'd deny everything that I'm saying, but I think subconsciously that is what's there. I hate to psychoanalyze because usually it's a very lazy way of getting around the problem, but I think in this case there really is something to what I am saying, because like I said, I've met and dated women like this in the past, and it's the same pattern of behavior. And really, it's about you transcending the disappointment that she finds in you and becoming something greater than you actually were. Weirdly, it is to your own benefit that people like this exist.
So that means they've spent all the parliamentary time, all of the political energy and capital that they have, and a hell of a lot of money on trying and failing to stop it.
So this, again, is good. That's a good thing. Like, we need to absolutely stop all of these people. And the thrill that she gets in pointing that out is the thrill of defrocking you. Right? It's the thrill of being able to tear down an idol. And so our responsibility here is actually to be beyond her criticism. Our responsibility is to transcend her ability to mock and tear us down. Basically, we need to flog and deport all of these men, right? I would go further, but obviously, I think for YouTube's sake, just a flogging will do. But just every single one of these men who have come into the country, whether they're legitimate or not, whether they've committed a crime outside of illegally entering the country or not. I mean, I say just flog them. I say just, how dare you think you're going to take advantage of us? Because the whole point is that they're not concerned about our dignity. And whilst we accept that they're not concerned about our dignity collectively as a people, she doesn't need to be concerned about our dignity collectively as a people. And this is her mocking us for not protecting our own dignity. And we, the men of England, actually should be protecting our dignity and the dignity of our children and our women and our culture and heritage and way of life. And whilst we don't, she's actually not wrong to be mocking us. She's actually not wrong to be needling us, driving the knife in, because we have in fact failed in our duty. She's not wrong to do this to us. Again, I'm sure this is some sort of evolutionary mechanism that forces and provokes us into action, and good, we should be doing that. She should be crying about the fascist government that won't let in unlimited rapey foreigners in. Yeah, she should be crying about that, right? She shouldn't be crying about the fact that they're in here. That's not the thing that she should be crying about and obfuscating about and laughing about. She should be crying about the fact that she can't get her way. That's what she should be crying about, rather than smugly telling you on TV that you're not going to get your way. Right? Vote accordingly, and I really mean this. We really have to be like, no, we're bringing back patriarchy in all its forms, and yes, that means a right-wing future, and I'm sorry, I'm not compromising on this. I'm not engaging your dialectic on this. It's just going to be how things are. And she will be happy, finally, and she'll be able to sleep soundly at night.